Good day and welcome to Lex's World. It's time to talk about UV or ultraviolet lighting in cannabis growing, a slightly more advanced topic. So as a lot of you already know, this right here is the entire light spectrum, and over here on the left we have ultraviolet light. Well, ultraviolet light breaks down even further into UVA, UVB, and UVC, and which category the UV falls into simply depends on the length of its waves. I'll start by saying that you outdoor growers don't normally have to think about getting enough UV. Your plants already get the correct amounts of all three. Namely, they get lots of UVA, a little UVB, and virtually no UVC, and that is as it should be in nature. UVA is the safest part of the UV spectrum, both for human skin and for plants. It's the spectrum of UV that most LED grow lights try including at minimum, if it's a light fixture that's sophisticated enough to include UV, which increasingly LED lights are. And as you can see, that's the UV spectrum closest to visible light. UVA has been shown quite conclusively to improve growth during vegetative phase in cannabis, so it is useful. I've seen indoor growers add a bit of UVA light to the mix just during veg. As I said, that's a little outdated because nowadays you don't have to add it, it comes built in. I'll link to some LED light fixtures in the description that include UVA in their bands. Now on to UVB. There is a market for plasma and other lighting that emits both UVA and UVB, so it's possible to get that portion of the spectrum for your plants, though the impact of UVB on your cannabis plants is not conclusive. There's theories that UVB boosts resin production, but I'm not convinced of that, and considering how dangerous it is for the human skin, UVB is just too hazardous a feature for amateur grow setups. For this reason, most lights that include a UV component for better growing really focus on UVA. But in the growing world, strangely it is UVC that has the most quirky usefulness. In the outdoors, UVC is almost completely filtered out by the ozone layer, and it makes no difference anyway because it carries too much electromagnetic radiation for plants to process. But it is a light wave type that can be used in small amounts to kill certain things, like mold spores, water bacteria, and soil pests. This is known as ultraviolet germicidal irradiation. UVC light is a kind of disinfectant. It is typically marketed not for growing, but as a water or air purifier or bacteria killer on surfaces and in food. I'll link to some of them in the description. Use UVC in short, limited, and regular applications to kill pests and molds or disinfect something like your water reservoir without actually doing a full-blown cleaning on it. By short bursts, I mean you can just flash UVC on something once per day for a few seconds to get results. Long exposure to your plants will cause burn-like damage. Again, UVC is dangerous for skin as well, so don't expose yourself to it directly. There's no shortage of protective equipment out there for people who dabble in UVB or UVC. Well, that's my 2 cents on UV light. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, be sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Again, an additional reminder, UV spectrum in growing is advanced stuff, so I really wouldn't worry about it as a beginner. It is way more important to have your fundamentals solid before worrying about your UV light. And if you want to improve your fundamentals, just browse through my videos. I certainly have plenty of episodes on that. Anyway, we'll see you next time.